Hey everyone, it's William. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's topic is one that is very close to my heart, and that is the unfair treatment of people with autism. As someone who is autistic, I have personally experienced the negative effects of this treatment, but I also know that I am not alone and that there are countless of others who have been subjected to discrimination and prejudice simply because of their neurodivergent status. In this discussion, I want to explore this issue in depth and share some of the stories and experiences that highlight the need for change. I'll look at everything from the education system to the workplace and examine the ways in which autistic individuals are often overlooked, dismissed, or even mistreated. But I'll also talk about some of the positive steps that are being taken and discuss what we can do to create a more inclusive and accepting world for everyone, regardless of their neurological differences. So, if you're interested in learning more about this important topic, then please stick around. Together, we can make a difference. One issue that I have personally experienced is how people tend to behave as if individuals with autism are not allowed to express emotions of sadness, anger, frustration, or anxiety. In fact, many people seem to expect those with autism to always be happy and calm, which can be incredibly isolating and hurtful. Today, I want to shed light on this issue and share my own experience with it. Sadly, stories like mine are all too common for those of us with autism. I once worked as a paraprofessional and found myself at odds with a teacher who simply didn't understand my way of communication or processing information. One time, she accused me of being rude simply because of the tone of my voice when I told a student to wash their hands after picking their nose. When I tried to explain myself, she repeatedly interrupted me and criticized me in front of others, which was humiliating. This experience made me realize how people tend to behave as if individuals with autism are not allowed to express emotions of sadness, anger, frustration, stress, or anxiety. Instead, we are expected to simply comply and not cause any trouble, even when we are being mistreated. One reason why people might think that individuals with autism should not express these emotions is because of the stereotype that people with autism lack emotions or empathy. This stereotype is not only false, but it's extremely harmful as it perpetuates the idea that those with autism are robotic or emotionless. Additionally, some people may not understand how to appropriately respond to emotional expressions from individuals with autism. They may misinterpret the emotional cues and think that the person is upset about something trivial or something unrelated to the situation at hand. This can lead to dismissive or patronizing responses, which can make the person with autism feel invalidated or unheard. Another reason why individuals with autism may face challenges in expressing emotions is that they may struggle with social communication and regulation. For example, someone with autism may have difficulty understanding and managing their emotions in a socially appropriate way. This can lead to misunderstandings and frustration for both the person with autism and the people around them. It's important to recognize that everyone, including individuals with autism, has the right to express their emotions in a safe and supportive environment. It's also important to provide appropriate support and accommodations to help individuals with autism communicate and regulate their emotions effectively. As a person with autism, one thing that I've noticed is that when I express my emotions in a way that neurotypical people don't expect, they often become uncomfortable and try to shut me down. They may tell me to calm down, to stop being so emotional, or just let it go. But what I found is that this only makes things worse. It's like throwing gasoline onto a fire. And what I mean by that is when a neurotypical person continues to antagonize or provoke an autistic person who is already upset, it only makes the situation more difficult. It's like they think that by pushing our buttons, they can somehow make us calm down or stop expressing our emotions. But in reality, this only makes things worse. So, my message to neurotypical people is this: when you encounter someone with autism who is upset or emotional, don't try to shut them down or provoke them any further. Just try to listen to them and understand where they're coming from. Offer them support and validation. It may not be easy, but it's a much more effective way to help us calm down and feel heard. Another challenge that many individuals with autism face is finding and keeping a job. The unemployment rate for autistic individuals is much higher than the general population, and those who do find employment often face significant obstacles in the workplace. In fact, according to a study by the National Autistic Society, only 16% of autistic adults are in full-time paid employment, and even fewer are in meaningful jobs that match their skills and interests. This is a major issue that needs more attention and support from society as a whole. And I would like to share a personal experience I had in the workplace, which unfortunately is not an uncommon one for many autistic individuals. In a previous job, I faced challenges with a manager who did not understand my communication style and needs, and as a result, I felt unsupported and even marginalized at times. And while I cannot disclose specific names or details, I can speak generally about the issues that arose. One of the main challenges was with feedback and criticism. Whenever I asked questions or sought clarification about my job duties, I often felt that the tone of voice used was harsh, and I was told that I should have already known the answer. This left me feeling anxious and unsupported, as I did not have access to proper training or manuals to guide me in my work. Another issue was with assumptions and bias. I felt that my manager often jumped to negative conclusions about me without giving me a chance to speak for myself. And when I did try to defend myself, I felt that my manager did not allow me to fully express my thoughts and feelings. These experiences highlight the difficulties that autistic individuals face in the workplace, where communication on styles and needs may differ from what is considered the norm. It is important for employers and managers to recognize these differences and provide support and accommodations to ensure that all employees feel valued and included. I once worked in a corporate environment where I struggled to fit in with my colleagues due to my autism. I found it difficult to communicate effectively with others and often misunderstood social cues. And as a result, I was frequently left out of conversations and activities, which made me feel isolated and alone. One incident that stands out is when a colleague made a joke that I found offensive and hurtful. I didn't understand the humor and felt singled out. When I tried to express my discomfort, I was ignored and made to feel like an outsider. Another challenge experience was when I was reprimanded for joking around with a coworker who I thought was my friend. I didn't understand that my behavior was inappropriate and ended up getting written up for it. This made me feel even more isolated and misunderstood. Despite these difficulties, I continued to work hard and tried to improve my communication skills. However, I found that my efforts were not always recognized, and I was passed over for promotions and other opportunities. Overall, my experience in the workplace as someone with autism was challenging and isolating. I hope that by sharing my story, others can understand the struggles that individuals with autism face in the workplace and work towards creating a more inclusive and understanding environment. Another issue is dating. Dating has always been a challenge for me, especially as somebody with autism. It can be difficult to read social cues and understand the expectations of the other person. I've had experiences where potential partners mistreat me horribly because of my condition. They either make fun of me, talk down to me, or simply ignore me. This is not only hurtful, but it also reinforces the stereotype that people with autism are somehow lesser or undeserving of love and respect. It's a frustrating reality that I and many others like me have to face when trying to find companionship. People with autism often face unique challenges in relationships, and it can be difficult to find understanding partners. The lack of understanding and stigma surrounding autism can cause potential partners to react negatively, which can be hurtful and discouraging. It's important to remember that having autism does not make you any less deserving of love and respect. It's also important to find partners who are accepting of your differences and willing to learn more about autism. And as somebody with autism, dating has always been very difficult for me. I've experienced a lot of mistreatment from potential partners who either ghosted me after finding out about my condition or belittled me for my lack of dating experience. Some have even suggested that I should only date other people on the spectrum, which isn't my sole focus. When I express my feelings bluntly or in a way that's different from what's expected, I've been told that I need serious help, that I'm immature and need to grow up, or that it's no wonder I'm single. It's incredibly frustrating and hurtful to be judged solely based on my condition and not on who I am as a person. In addition to the challenges I faced at work and in dating, I want to talk about how constant unfair treatment can be extremely harmful to a person with autism. I've experienced a lot of discrimination and misunderstanding throughout my life, and it has caused me to experience PTSD. It's tough to explain how difficult it can be for someone with autism to cope with these kinds of situations. When people don't understand you or don't give you the same opportunities as everyone else, it's hard not to feel isolated and worthless. For someone with autism, this can be even more challenging because of the difficulty in socializing and expressing oneself. People often think that because someone with autism may struggle with certain social cues or communication styles, they are less capable or inferior in some way. This is not true, and it only perpetuates harmful stereotypes and discrimination. In my experience, constant unfair treatment has caused me to feel a sense of hopelessness and despair. It's tough to stay positive and motivated when people are constantly putting you down or treating you poorly. It's something that I think people need to be more aware of and empathetic towards. I hope that by sharing my experiences, people can begin to understand the harmful effects of discrimination and unfair treatment towards individuals with autism. It's important to treat everyone with respect and dignity, regardless of their differences or challenges. As someone with autism, I have faced many challenges in the workplace, from misunderstandings and lack of accommodations to mistreatment and discrimination. My experiences highlight the need for better education and awareness about autism in society and in the workplace, as well as the importance of providing support and reasonable accommodations for people with autism. I hope that by sharing my story, I can raise awareness about the difficulties faced by individuals with autism in the workplace and inspire positive change. It's time to recognize the value and potential of neurodiverse individuals and create a more inclusive and accepting workplace culture. Now, before I wrap up, I want to take a moment to thank you for listening to my story. It takes a lot of courage to speak up about personal experiences, and I truly appreciate that you've taken the time to listen. I hope that my story has shed light on some of the challenges faced by individuals with autism in the workplace and in dating. My intention is to raise awareness and encourage empathy towards people with autism who often face discrimination and mistreatment due to their differences. To anyone who has made it this far in the video, thank you for your attention and your willingness to learn. Your support means a lot to me and to the autism community. Finally, I want to remind everyone that kindness and understanding can go a long way in creating a more inclusive and accepting world. Let's continue to work towards creating a society where everyone is valued and respected, regardless of their differences. Thank you all. And if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will see you all in the next video.